Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss the role of money in our economic system. Before we will start, let us have a brief overview about our course financial market. Financial markets refers to a marketplace where buyers and sellers participate in the trade. One of the example is the buying and selling of assets. Simply saying, it is a platform that facilitates traders to buy and sell financial instruments and securities. So these instruments and securities can be shares, stocks, bonds, commercial papers, bills, debentures, checks, foreign exchange, and derivatives. As you can see in this slide, in the center we have the financial markets, which are the banks and other financial institutions. And to the left side, we have the investors or the lenders. And to the right side, we have the borrowers. These borrowers are the different companies or organizations, individuals, and the government. So these investors or lender will save their money in the financial market. So they hope that their money will grow in the future through the financial markets. So the financial market will provide individuals, companies, and the government organizations with the access to capital. Because the different individuals, companies, and government organizations needed the funds for their operations. So basically, financial markets are all about bringing investors and borrowers together. Financial markets are places where the savings from several sources are mobilized towards those who need funds. They are intermediaries which direct money from savers or lenders to sellers or borrowers. To put it simply, businesses and investors can go to financial markets like banks and other financial institutions to raise money to grow their business and to make more money. Since the goal of these businesses is to make profit for their company, because profit is the lifeblood of the business. To state it more clearly, let us imagine a bank where an individual maintains a savings account. The bank can use their money and the money of other depositors to loan to other individuals and organizations, and the bank will charge them with an interest fee for the amount loaned to them. So the depositors themselves also earn and see their money grow through the interest that is paid to them by their bank. Therefore, the bank serves as a financial market that benefits both the depositors and the debtors. So, financial market also refers to stock exchanges and commodity exchanges. They may be physical places such as the PSE or the Philippine Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange in the United States. So these markets are where corporations and governments come to raise cash, businesses reduce risk, and investors aim to make money. Now let's proceed to our lesson, the role of money in our economy. First, I will discuss the definition of money. Money is any object generally accepted as payment for goods and services and the repayment of debt. Money is a medium of exchange. It allows people to obtain what they need to live, like goods and services. So if you want to buy your needs like shelter and foods, and you want to buy your wants like gadgets, you need to pay a corresponding amount of money, because money makes the world go around. Now let's have a brief overview on money. Before the development of money, people would barter to obtain the goods and services they needed. So in barter, two individuals, each possessing some goods the other wanted, would enter into an agreement to trade. So barter is the direct exchange of good for other goods. Barter is a system of trading without the use of money. At first, when the wants of men were few and simple, the barter system worked well. But as days passed by, it was found to be unsuitable because it has many difficulties. Because of these difficulties, society abandoned the barter system for the following reasons. First is the absence of double coincidence of wants. Second, no standard of measurement. Third, absence of subdivision. And lastly, the difficulty of storage. Absence of double coincidence of wants. Barter requires double coincidence of wants. That is, one must have what the other man wants, and vice versa. So in barter, the needs of a seller of a commodity must match the needs of a buyer. So if their needs do not match, the transaction will not occur. For example, I want a cow in return for my horse. In able to get that cow, I need someone who owns a cow at the same time that he wants my horse in return. But if the owner of the cow do not want to exchange his cow for a horse, exchange cannot take place. So I should go to a person who has a horse and I must have what he wants, enable for a barter to take place. So all of this means a lot of inconvenience to both parties. But money overcomes these difficulties because through money, if I have an object, I can sell it for some price. I get the price in money. With that, I can buy whatever I want. So second is no standard of measurement. Barter provides no standard of measurement. In other words, it provides no measure of value. It does not provide a method for estimating the relative value of two goods. Third, absence of subdivision. Sometimes it will be difficult to split up commodities into parts. They will lose their value if they are subdivided. For example, a man wants to sell his house and buy some land, some cows, and some cloth. In this case, it is almost impossible for him to divide his house and barter it for all of the above things. And lastly, difficulty of storage. Money serves as a store of value. In the absence of money, a person has to store his wealth in the form of commodities, and they cannot be stored for a long period. Some commodities are perishable and some will lose their value. So all of these difficulties of barter were overcome with the introduction of money. So now let us proceed to the different functions of money. So the four functions of money: first, medium of exchange; second, measure of value; third, store of value; and lastly, standard of deferred payments. Medium of exchange, something that people can use to buy and sell from one another. So the most important function of money is that it acts as a medium of exchange. Because through money is accepted freely in exchange for all other goods. Barter system is very inconvenient, so the introduction of money has got over the difficulty of barter. Second, measure of value. It provides a common base for prices. So money acts as a common measure of value. It is a unit of account and a standard of measurement. So whenever we buy good in the market, we pay a price for it in money. And the price is nothing but value expressed in terms of money. So we can measure the value of good by the money we pay for it. Third, store of value, which means people can save it and use it later, smoothing their purchases over time. A man who wants to store his wealth in some convenient form will find money admirably suitable for the purpose. So it acts as a store of value. So suppose the wealth of a man consists of thousands cattle. He cannot preserve his wealth in the form of cattle, But if there is money, he can sell his cattle, get the money for that, and can store his wealth in the form of money. And lastly, standard of deferred payments. So it is the function of being widely accepted way to value a debt, thereby allowing goods and services to be acquired now and paid for in the future. So in this, money is used as a standard of future payments. It forms as the basis for the credit transactions because businesses in the modern times is based on credit to a large extent. So this facilitated by the existence of money. So in credit, since payment is made at a future date, there must be some medium which will have as far as possible the same exchange power in the future as at the present. So if a credit transaction were to be carried on the basis of commodities, there would be a lot of difficulties because it will affect the trade. Now we will discuss the attributes of good money. So we have 8 attributes of good money. First is the general acceptability. Second, portability. Third, cognizability. Fourth, durability. Fifth, divisibility. Sixth, homogeneity. Seventh, malleability. And lastly, the stability of value. So general acceptability is a good money material because money must be generally acceptable. People should not hesitate to exchange their goods for the material. So in this attribute, money must be acceptable. People should be ready to accept it as a mode of payment and exchange. So for example, checks are not acceptable by all, but cash is. Another example is precious metals like golds and silver are always acceptable. Second, portability. A satisfactory money material must be of high value for its bulk. Since it has to be moved about from place to place, it must be possible for us to carry it from one place to another without difficulty, expense, or inconvenience. So precious metals such as gold and silver are satisfactory in this regard. Even paper money is ideal in this regard. Iron, for instance, would not be satisfactory in this respect. So in this attribute, portability means that money should be easy to carry around and use. So another example is paper notes. So paper notes are the most convenient to carry around. Third is cognizability. So the material used as money should be easily recognizable. So gold and silver, for example, can be easily recognized by their color and heavy weight for small bulk. So the ability to recognize money is critically important. Today we can look at a currency note and tell its value. So if money is not cognizable, then people can find it difficult to determine if they are dealing with money or some inferior asset. Fourth is durability. The material used as money should not deteriorate because the early forms of money such as corn, fish, and skin were unsuitable in this regard. So gold and coins will last many hundreds of years. So they are durable. So money must be durable. Durability means that it needs to last to be able to use for a good period of time. So for example, coins are the most durable and cash is durable to a certain extent. Next is divisibility. The material must be capable of division without difficulty and without loss of value on account of division. So metals have this advantage. Sixth is homogeneity. All coins of the material should be of the same quality. One coin should not be superior to another. So money must be uniform, because all units of the same value must be same in shape, size, and color. Seventh is malleability. A material must be capable of being molded without much difficulty. Even if a material is divided into a number of pieces, they must be capable of being reunited without loss. So gold is excellent for such purposes. Gold is malleable. And lastly is the stability of value. This is another important quality of good money material, because commodities which are subject to violent changes in supply and demand are unfit for money. So of all the qualities of good money, stability is probably the most essential one. So the value of money cannot change for a long period of time and hence remain stable. So if the value of money keeps changing, then it will fall off to function as a measure of value and as a standard of deferred payment. So for example, printing of notes. So in printing of notes, there is a regulation regarding to it. So this is because having excess will cause fall in value, as all will have a large amount of money. So now let's proceed to our last topic, the kinds of money. So we have 4 kinds of money. First is the commodity money. Second is the fiat money. Third is the fiduciary money. And lastly, the commercial bank money. Commodity money. Commodity money is the simplest and the most likely the oldest type of money. So it builds on scarce natural resources that act as a medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account. So commodity money is closely related to a barter system, where goods and services are directly exchanged for other goods and services. So commodity money facilitates this process because it acts as a generally accepted medium of exchange. So the critical thing to note about commodity money is that its value is defined by the intrinsic value of the commodity itself. So in other words, the commodity itself becomes money. So good example of commodity money include gold coins, beads, shells, and spices. So the keyword in the commodity money, it relies on intrinsically valuable commodities that act as a medium of exchange. Second is fiat money. Fiat money gets its value from government order. That means the government declares fiat money to be a legal tender, which requires all people and firms within the country to accept it as a means of payment. So if they fail to do so, they may be fined or even put in prison. So unlike commodity money, fiat money is not backed by physical commodity. So by definition, its intrinsic value is significantly lower than its face value. So hence, the value of fiat money is derived from the relationship between supply and demand. So most modern economies are based on the fiat money system. So examples of fiat money include coins and bills. So fiat money, on the other hand, gets its value from a government order. Third is the fiduciary money. Fiduciary money depends for its value on the confidence that it will be generally accepted as a medium of exchange. Unlike fiat money, it is not declared as legal tender by the government, which means people are not required by law to accept it as a means of payment. So instead, the issuer of a fiduciary money promises to exchange it back for a commodity or fiat money if requested by the bidder. As long as the people are confident that this promise will not be broken, so they can use fiduciary money just like regular fiat or commodity money. So examples of fiduciary money includes checks, banknotes, or drafts. Fiduciary money depends for its value on the confidence that it will be generally accepted as a medium of exchange. Lastly is the commercial bank money. Commercial bank money can be described as claims against financial institutions that can be used to purchase goods or services. It represents the portion of a currency that is made of debt generated by commercial banks. More specifically, commercial bank money is created through what we call fractional reserve banking. Fractional reserve banking describes a process where commercial banks give out loans worth more than the value of the actual currency they hold. At this point, just note that in essence, commercial bank money is debt generated by commercial banks that can be exchanged for real money or to buy goods and services. So the keywords in this, and we should always remember that commercial bank money can be described as claims against financial institutions that can be used to purchase goods or services. So this is the end of my discussion. So I hope that you learned something in our topic.